Is it working? I hit the button. There we go. We're live.
Yeah, I think we're live.
Hey,
Hey,
friend.
everybody. How's it going?
We'll have a total of 0 viewers live, and then millions of people will watch this afterwards.
Oh, they're going to watch it afterwards. I'm sure about that.
I was
Yeah.
asking you before we started, and I was like, wait, no, let me actually hit record. We're good friends, and I know you very well, but I have no idea where you came from. I just wanted to hear your school origin story.
Yeah, sure. So, where I came from and who I am, like the essence of that, it's very metaphysical. It can get a little bit complicated, but to suffice it to say, I'm originally from Bloomfield, New Jersey, which is a blue collar town about 30 minutes outside of New York City. Um, I grew up there, and I currently live in Virginia, in the Richmond area. Um, but yeah, as far as like getting started on school, I had a friend, um, good friend of mine. We call him Johnny Logistics, and he told me about Hormozy's book, $100 million Offers. And so that was the first time I heard about the Mose dog, and then I started to look into that, and I put in the man hours. I did my own research, prudent, um, and I crunched the numbers, and finally I was like, wow, this guy sounds like he might know something. Um, so through that research, I discovered Skool, and at the time I was just kind of getting started with entrepreneurship, and like I come from like a long line, like my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, his mother, her father. None of them were entrepreneurs. So I come from a long line of people who are not
I
entrepreneurs.
thought you were going the other direction. I was like, whoa.
Um, and so I always had this interest in it because it was so different. Like it was like totally different from what I grew up with. And so like I was always kind of, fascinated by it, right? But I never really took it seriously. Like I had a couple of things I tried to do when I was in my 20s. Like I had a little PC repair business where people would call me to remove their viruses from their computer, and it was like, it was cool. But like I didn't really take it too serious, and like, Best Buy had like Geek Squad, so like there was a market there, but like it just wasn't taking off because I wasn't taking it seriously. So fast forward like a bunch of years, and I never really did anything with entrepreneurship. I ended up getting like a regular job. Still always interested in it, like um,
Regular
just the
job.
concept of business and entrepreneurship. And so like a few years ago, I was like, hey, why don't I just try to do something? And so I started a consultancy, which was for like what I do mainly, which is like software stuff. Um, and it was just really tough to do that while also working a full time job, because like clients wanted to meet at certain times, and I had like deliverables like for my job and meetings I had to go to. So it was just like super stressful. And then yeah, then I heard about Skool. I heard about Hormozy, and I was like, wow, this seems cool. Like maybe I could figure out a way to do things like on Skool so that I can do it kind of on my own schedule and not have to be on call with like a client or something like that all the time. So that's kind of how I found Skool and why I started Skool. And then I started my first group, I think, in January of 2024. I don't know. I think it was about Tiddlywinks or something. I don't even remember what it was about. Um, but then, I started to, I immersed myself, in the platform. Like imagine like wearing like a cloak. Like I cloaked myself in Skool. Um, and then I eventually ended up on Sam Oven's radar. And shortly after that, we fell in love, and we've been happy ever since.
I wanted to ask you about the shirt too. I want to
Oh,
get me one
this,
of
oh,
those.
this is a picture of Sam wearing a shirt with me on it. So yeah, the love is real, and nothing can tear us apart.
I feel like we got to keep the meme going. We're gonna get a picture. Keep the shirt, the picture, like the infinity phone screens.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Every year there's a new shirt that drops. Every year it switches
A-
between Joe or Sam wearing the shirt of each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's make it happen.
Well, yeah, that's why I was curious. Like I love to like, I mean, credit to Sam. That's the only reason I'm popular on Skool, too. Like was the first beekeeping community, and then here we are. Sometime later, no more beekeeping community for different reasons. But all my traffic came from just being on Sam's page and that notoriety of like being the beekeeper on Skool. And now there's so many more that are doing a much better job than I ever could because that's not what that wasn't my thing, right? It was the family thing.
Right,
So that's
right.
when you were just kind of always a part of Skool in my eyes. Like because I didn't discover the Skool community and the Skoolers and stuff for like a little while, and then when I showed up, like you were just there. You're like the guy who had the most Skool communities, the most notorious guy on Skool. I was like, how did this happen? Like, where's that origin story? Like I get that it's Skool, it's community, like a lot of things like that happen. And everyone has their own little character quirks to them, and we kind of have a big family going on. But I was just like, where the heck did Joe come from?
Yeah, I mean, I, I mean, it was, it was just really a matter of like, just me getting in there and engaging with people in a way that I found to be funny and entertaining, and also, um, you know, just in my own way, right? Like I wasn't trying to ever be somebody that I'm not, unless I'm intentionally trying to do that, like for laughs, right?
Mm.
But I think that's part of what makes me me, and I think just showing people that that's okay to be that way and to be who you are, and as long as you're well intentioned, I think people really respond to that.
When I don't want to say I see a lot, but in schoolers we do get a lot of the fluffy, like you just be yourself and monetize your passion and be uniquely you, and we get a lot of that fluffy stuff. But I think seeing the actual reality of it, not in like a fluffy value post, but like not in a mean way. Joe is nobody, and now he's somebody. He's got Sam on his shirt. Like, not that you weren't nobody before, but like you didn't have to start with millions of followers. You didn't have to start with like a banger offer. Like you just came to Skool, you engaged, you learned to use the platform, and then slowly that progression from being a caveman to wearing the wizard hat, you become a full time schooler, right?
Yeah, and I think this wasn't really like intentional, but like, just being lucky enough to be in the right groups with the right people at the right time. And, a lot of
Mm.
it is just like pure luck, right? Like it's nothing special. Like it's just a lot of it's just luck. Like if I never saw like GIF, like I think GIF is kind of what really started a lot of it. Because it was like one of the first like fun groups on Skool, and like it was a blast, right? And it's still there. Um, but like that's where I kind of I don't know, I hate to say this term, but like made a name for myself because I was always posting like and commenting like a bunch of ridiculous stuff. And like yeah, and then I guess through the grapevine, people hear about those things, and you build a reputation. So for better or for worse.
And a really strong example that I saw recently was D Green. Like I saw him in his first week that he came on there, and he's already like, I mean, the leaderboard in Skool in the schoolers group doesn't mean anything, but like he's already above me in points. His like community's blown up. He's got lots of activity. I think he's got the star. Like he's doing really great stuff. And again, not that he was a nobody, but I saw him in his first few weeks. He just showed up, and then with putting in that time and being himself and reaching out, like he built his own little area, right? I was showing somebody the thumbnail for this video, and they were like, "That's kind of creepy." So, for anyone watching who's like, "What is this thumbnail? What is this thumbnail, Joe?"
Well, it's a thumbnail for one of the groups that I run now, which is called Jester. And that's kind of where I was having so much fun in groups like GIF, and there was another group, Rebels, at the time.
Mm,
And I kind of decided, hey, maybe I should venture off and start my own fun group. And so this concept of Jester came along where, like the Jester was like the fool who kind of entertained the royals, in the court, in the kingdom, right?
Papa Victor said in the chat, most notorious guy on Skool.
and so yeah, so that's kind of how Jester was born, and that graphic just goes along with the whole the ambiance, the whole ambiance of the community.
I'm gonna make a post asking for post mission. Jenna, if you're watching, can I use the thumbnail that you created? That's for Joe's community as the thumbnail for this video. Forgot to
Yeah,
ask
I
her
mean,
ahead of time.
I don't know where this falls under like copyright law, but
I'm
I hope.
sure just a joke. I'm sure it's not a big deal.
Well, yeah, I hope Jenna doesn't sue me.
Or me, man.
Yeah,
We're bringing
Well-
back episode 5. We're starting the plan, and then it's over.
we're both in big trouble.
Well, I guess because Jester was shut down for a while. Like that was really fun. It reminded me of, like you said, like Rebels, get like fun communities. One that Nevreet had before was High School. I remember that being a lot of fun before she rebranded like 12 more times.
Yeah.
Where it was just everybody in there and hanging out, which I guess is kind of the vibe for the live podcast here. Is like anyone in the audience could join the call right now. Just find me on Skool and send me a message. It's not the Joe episode, right? It's just Joe is. That's the thumbnail. He's the one guy I promised to have you on, right?
Yeah.
So I like that vibe. And having Jester back, like it was like an early Christmas present. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
It actually made my whole day that day when I was like, wait a second, what? And then my notifications are blowing up again because we post way too much in there.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll be honest, like everybody talks on Skool like, yeah, show up every day and like, just keep showing up. And like I was doing that, and meanwhile my mental health was going down the drain. So what I want to tell people is like, when it comes to business, like it's like a long-term thing. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. You're working on like big like time horizon, right? So if you need time to like get your head straight, if you need like a month or 2 months or whatever it is, right? Sometimes it's okay not to show up every day. Like, yeah, if you have a community that's depending on you like every single day and they're paying you a bunch of money, that might be a problem. But Jester was kind of just for fun, and it was just taking up like a lot of my time, and it was actually, even though it was like just fun, it was stressing me out in a lot of ways because some of the games and things that we do inside there, it was very kind of like political, and like it was just like, whoa, this is not so much fun right now. So hit the brakes, get your head straight, take a little break, like that's fine, right? Especially if you're not having a bunch of people depending on you like to do a job for them or something, so. But for providing entertainment, I think I could get away with it. So
I think that's a fair point. Like you said, everyone says just show up, be consistent, put in the work. I mean, I'm silently proud of my 365 plus screen. Like I never made a post or celebrated or did whatever because that's just for me. And the way I did it without burning out, and I'm still able to maintain it, like even though shutting down groups is like a different story, but just the activity on Skool and like showing up every day, just because I'm in groups that I enjoy. Like it's that simple. Like when I started, I remember, I think I've told this story before, but I'm in the hospital waiting for my son to be born, and I was like, oh, new Alex Hermosi video. Oh, this Skool, download immediately. And I was like, huh. And I just was like, well, I'm kind of doing, I was in the drop shipping phase at the time. I was like, I'm kind of trying that because I'm unemployed right now. I'm kind of doing this. I'm kind of doing that. So I found a few groups and I was super engaged the first few days. I was like, there's something more here. Like I'm missing it. And then life, I was in the hospital. My son was born. So life happens for a few months, right? I was still on Skool, but then eventually I was like, wait a second. I could do this and I could do this and I could do this. And then I found the groups that I vibed with, and it became easy to be me and like find your people on Skool in those communities, and especially as the platform's growing every day. Like I heard somebody was talking to me about like, oh man, there's so many communities like this on there with something to do with mental health and something to do with personal development and blah blah blah, and they're all the same. I'm like, but they're not, because they're run by the different people, and the person running them is the uniqueness that starts the party, right? Which is what Jester is. You got to build that name for yourself, and then you're able to attract those people, right? Like the Skool Friends Live, we got the Skool community for that. We didn't do any work, and it's like already over 30 members. And other people are like, I got my first 10 members, because we're all starting at different spots, right? Like you said, business is that long game, and some people try to run too fast, and then they fall flat on their face, and we never see them on Skool again.
Yeah, I mean it's 100% true. You are the secret sauce of your community, right? And yeah, we're not. It's community, so it's not like you're not like the guru, like, but people join because of you to some degree. Like you might have the most no-brainer offer, but then it's like, well, you're the guy with the no-brainer offer. They're still joining because of you, or you might have some insight that or you might have some personality trait that people really like, so you are the secret sauce. That doesn't mean that you're above or better than anybody. Just but that's very true.
Well, it's the example they've used before already, but like you're having a house party. I don't know. Last time I had a house party, I had friends of friends of friends showing up. It wasn't like a major rager or anything crazy, but like I had some people I didn't know that I got to meet, and then we didn't really talk about. So it's the same thing in the Skool community, right? It's everyone's here because of you. You're throwing the party, but you don't have to go have a shot or like talk to every single person that comes through the door, depending on the size of the party you're having or the type of party you're having, right?
Right.
A little bit more private or a little bit more broad.
Yeah. I mean, that would be kind of exhausting if like you had to go to every single person at the party, like, and just check on them all the time and like make sure, like, oh, do you need another drink? Do you need a snack? Do you need this? There's the bathroom. Hey, have you seen have you heard the music? Like, oh my gosh, that's
We could be a house tour 1,000
people
times.
just want to chill out and just have a good time, and like you don't need to be like helicopter party host.
You said something at the start where it was like, I said, oh, I thought it was going the other way. Like everyone's always had a job. I'm the opposite. So I actually find that fascinating, because like I find what you find hard. Like I've applied to over 2,000 jobs. Sure, I could be applying to different jobs and probably taking them. There's jobs I should have taken at some point in the last few years, right? But like I've just come to terms with I'm an entrepreneur. I can't have a job. Even the job that I do as an operator on Skool, I'm self-employed and I have clients that I work for, right? Like what is it that fascinates you about the entrepreneurship? Because like I'm 110% all for it. It fascinates me about having a job and like trading that time for money, and someone else having to tell you what to do all the time, and like not having that time freedom and flexibility during the day. Like I need to schedule my sick days, and schedule my vacation and time off. Like I run a business, I still have to do that, but like not to the same extent. So I was curious on your side, like what's so interesting about entrepreneurship? You're like, I want to do that. I want to get out of all the jobs everyone's always having.
Well, I think just working in like working for somebody else, at least where like I've worked in basically big companies, like, and if you're kind of a creative person, or, if you don't fit exactly in like the box that they want to put you in, you're just not fulfilled, completely fulfilled, like in your job. Like it's like I could be doing so much more, but that's not my job. Like I can go in my free time and do those things, but most of the time it's not going to really, in my experience, doesn't really lead anywhere or to better opportunities. And yeah, just having somebody to tell me like, hey, you've been working remote since you started here, but starting in a couple months you have to come to the office 5 days a week, stuff like that. And then like, that like AI might wipe out a bunch of jobs and we're going to get rid of a bunch of people. So like growing up in like a non-entrepreneur family, it's kind of just, at the time it was like, go to school, get an education, go to college, get a job, get your health insurance, and ride it out, right? And just that always just kind of seemed like kind of boring and kind of like too cookie cutter for me. And it also seems like kind of more risky than actually being an entrepreneur because you're not really in control of your own destiny. Like you're at the mercy of like whoever you're working for. And yeah, you have transferable skills. You could go get a job somewhere else. So like that's like the good thing. But yeah, you still have to answer to somebody else. You still have to put up with a lot of things that you don't want to put up with. You have to bite your tongue a lot when you know things are wrong or you don't agree with them. And just like that's exhausting. It's not something I really want to do for the rest of my life. So I'd rather do something I enjoy and that I'm good at, and is more my speed, more my style, more fun.
That's fair enough. And so I did the thing, went to school, got the degree or the diploma, got the job, bought the house, got the wife, had the kids. I got fired. I've applied to 2,000 jobs.
Yeah, it's
I'm just never gonna have a job again. Like I'm just always gonna be it's just no more like sending the regular taxes to the government. I need to get an accountant. Like that's just different problems, right?
yeah. I mean, look, and again, a lot of it is luck there too, right? Like whatever circumstances you're in, where you live, like what your skill set is, what's the economy doing. Like there's a lot of variables. Not to say that you're not like you couldn't have done well at those jobs. Like you probably would have done well at all of those jobs you applied to, but sometimes getting your foot in the door is really tough.
Well, AI
Like
is
I work
taking our jobs by not giving them to us because they're reading my resumes and cover letters before it gets sent to the one person that says yes or no for an interview. Right? It's just the
right.
reality of 2026 now almost.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but luckily there are other ways to make a living and have a good life other than depending on the powers that be. So
Well, I love, well, like I said, I was curious to hear, like, always have a job, what interests you the most? Because most people I talk to are is that mindset of like, oh, it's so scary, it's so risky, not so X, Y, Z. It's the Hermosianism of like, cool, I live my life in a way you would not prefer. Great. Next question, right? Um, and out of the boring stuff, not to say that that's not a good conversation because everyone's struggling. You said mental health's important. We got Victor in the chat. If you want to let us know any questions you had for Joe, because we want to learn a little bit more about your history. We want to get the nostalgia angle in. What's what's got you excited right now? In terms, I guess it's like school updates or just life in general. Like, what is the next season of Joe looking like?
um yeah, just quite a lot to be excited about. Jester being back is definitely one of the things for sure, and gonna try to just make sure that it stays fun and that I don't let myself like get too um, I don't know, carried away with it. But yeah, I have some other things going on. I have my Skooly community and website, which has a lot of cool features for school owners. And I also have a new group that I started recently, where somebody who was in one of my previous groups really wanted to get mentored in software stuff. So I started a group for them basically, and I'm I figure, well, why don't I combine the two things that I like and that I'm good at? So like my job is software testing, but like software development is really something that I'm interested in a lot. So what I'm trying to do is build a site where people can train how to be a software tester. So it's going to be like a site that you go to and you have like there's going to be like bugs like built into the system purposefully, and there's going to be like kind of guided lessons to like guide them towards like, okay, here's what you need to try to find on this page, or look out for this, look out for that. And then you know combine that with a community where we can all talk about like, oh, this is what I found, like did I miss anything? And then just having that platform like Skool to just be able to bring it all together, so that's pretty new. We'll see how that goes. I have a reputation, I guess, for starting and closing things, but this person really inspired me because, like, literally, they were just, singing me all these praises, and like, I really feel like I could help them because there's somebody who's like really just starting out in their career and they're really hungry to improve at it. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of like all that stuff is exciting. Life stuff is exciting. I recently moved into a new place. The holidays are coming up. Excited about that. Um, and yeah, just life is pretty good right now. Thank God. Knock on wood.
Yeah, love to hear it. I would. I mean, we could go into like full game plan mode like we did the last time we were talking on the call. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Victor was talking about the synthesizer scaling. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Let's take that, combine it with that idea, do what we were talking about before. You get the free community or the freemium model. The front end is all the software, like the testing, you said, the site, the tools for people. And then the back end, when you upgrade, is like, hey, want to do this software stuff yourself? And then that's the high ticket upsell. You just have free with all the fun and all the tools, and then you monetize through some of the tools and you track it to the upsell. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh my gosh, we just made $1 million. But again, that's like into the weeds. We got to do it later.
Well, I could just spin up a group real quick and then we could get started after this call if you want.
Or we can do it on the call, like live over the next 30 minutes. Let's launch.
Maybe that could be a
software
future.
testing.
That could be maybe a future episode where we launch like a new thing, like live from the beginning.
There we go. That's an idea for anyone who wants to launch a Skool community. I could get like we've had Goose on, we've had Ryan on, we've had Matt. Like we've had all of our Skool friends on in the 6 episodes we've done now. I'm sure we could get 2 to 3 people together to do like a live let's launch your Skool community, and then we just have to have like a 4-way rock paper scissors match over who gets the affiliate code.
Right.
I don't know if you see the question there. Papa Victor is asking, what was your intention to focus on for the Skool program with synthesizer scaling in mind?
Yeah, synthesizer scaling is a fantastic program, and I'm kind of in the process of getting back up to speed there. See, the thing is, selling a high ticket offer for me at the time just seemed kind of not feasible because I could never really get that something that I felt really good and confident about. And so I felt like selling high ticket at that point was just kind of not going to end well. But it is something that I'm still definitely interested in. I'm just getting back up to speed on it.
You know, I had some synthesizers in my inbox trying to get me on for onboarding for round 2. They're going to be doing in the new year. So if we can get you on that would be awesome into the next cohort. Like if high ticket's like $1,000, right? I mean, you could definitely charge that for, especially because you took a couple months off, right? You recharged and ready to rock.
Well, yeah, I mean, anything over 1,000 is probably high ticket, right? I guess the thing, like, it still comes back to with me is like just the amount of responsibilities I have and the amount of work that goes into selling and delivering a high ticket program. Like, because I do have still a full-time job. I have, my kids to take care of, single dad, 3 kids. And like, yeah, like the amount of work that goes into putting together a high ticket program is no joke. I do believe synthesizer scaling is the best place to do it. Just for me, like I just don't know like how to make it work at the moment because of all the other things I have going on. So, between my job and my kids, those being my biggest priorities, whatever time I do have left, I kind of want to spend it doing things that I'm really really passionate about like building software and, make software, make jokes, and the other thing is making love. I mean, and those three things, I mean, that's how I want to be spending my free time. Uh,
And then
but
School HQ holiday party. Don't ask for Sam and Joe are.
but I also realize that like if I don't figure it out, like how to do it, I'm just going to keep running on the hamster wheel, and I'm not going to get to where I want to be. So how do I guess this is my struggle, is how do I wrestle with that, with all those competing priorities? I'm the only person that has the full context, the full picture, the full story of what's going on. So I take input from a lot of people, but I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of up to me to figure it out ultimately. But that's kind of what my struggle has been with synthesizer scaling and just high ticket in general. I do think high ticket is probably the way to go to really, like, if you really want to change your life. I just don't know how to get there right now.
I think I just went and checked into my friends list, and I see at coach Matt Rice is online right now. And I think we need some atomic performance coaching in here to help you get over that cycle of self-sabotage.
Matt's the best. Yeah, I'm sure he'll help me out.
Maybe there's another future call. We'll get him on live. We do the mindset stuff, and we get Andrew on live. We do your launch.
There you go. There you go.
It's a big month or big Q1 for School Friends Live. There we go. So I think like I feel that because I'm also a single dad. I mean, I don't have a job. I have to do the business. I stopped applying to jobs. Like, this is fortunate that this is what I'm able to do and make it work. And I've been able to make it work to make ends meet, surprisingly, for a couple of years. But like I understand the conflicting priority. I think there's just some preconceived ideas around what high ticket has to be that anyone listening right now might also have. Like, they're listening to what you're saying, like, yeah, exactly that. Like, low ticket has the same issue because you're selling just a product that's consumed, and then people churn and leave, and you're constantly having to get traffic. It's just different, same work, same amount of work, but just a different problem you're solving. So I think just to reframe that, Alex's group, 3,000 a month, he doesn't do anything. All the work was the pre-work, the front loaded, and then he does the live, right? It's very limited in terms of what they offer, and the value in there is insane. He's talking about on the Q3 recording that just got released on Tuesday yesterday. If you haven't watched that, go watch that, because they talked about some awesome stuff in there. But I think with something like high ticket, like, you could just have a page that people just go to because they know you as Skool's most notorious dude, and then they realize, oh, this guy also does software development and testing. And then that page just sells itself, and they come in and it's a high ticket, but they just go through the course and the pre-recorded videos and the thing, and then once a month you got a call, or like you get some sort of feedback mechanism where they like post like for feedback in the comments. Like, Skool has been set up in a way, especially now with tiers, there's an infinite number of possibilities, and just the same as like anyone can start from anywhere, and you don't have to have a huge following or like a big expertise. You can just get in and engage on Skool and become the most notorious man on Skool. Like, you don't have to fit into the cookie cutter shape that is the high ticket model that's established, right? The synthesizer scaling will help you a ton, and they've obviously got a plan to follow, but you're also unique. You can break that. And if you don't have a synthesizer scaling to follow, Max just released a free course again.
No, you're speaking the truth, my man. You really are. We need to put our heads together and see how we can figure it out.
Just everybody in the comments on the video that's watching after the fact, leave Joe some words of affirmation and tell him how awesome he is and how much you believe in him. Or
just send me a check instead. You don't have to do that.
Or we could just go Jester and drop profanities. Get the videos removed from YouTube. I see Schoolyard. We got Jack join us in the live. If you have any questions for Joe, anything you wanted to know, Papa Victor, that was a good question about the synthesizer. Joe is awesome. Yeah. Yes, Joe is awesome. I concur. uh, I honestly should probably be doing calls right now, but I just love to chat with you. So you had a bunch of random stuff you wanted to spew on here, right? You're telling me in the DMs you wanted to slander some people.
No, I think yeah, no, I think we covered most of it. But yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, man. Um, and yeah, we're gonna have some fun this year coming up. It's gonna be awesome.
We'll keep it a short episode today. Usually we do like 60 to 90, but you're so busy. You have so many things to focus on. We need to let this video recording drop so that people can leave you some words of affirmation. And you get motivated, and then we'll have you back on for longer episodes because we have follow up to do
All right, that sounds great.
now. Thanks for joining us, Jack and Victor. Anyone else watching the recording, if you guys want to have someone on, or if you want to come on, just go to Skool and find us. You can see in the description below Joe's Community Jester and then the Skool Friends Live. If you're not already in there, come check it out.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.